How confident were you that you guys were going to go up the field and score when you went in for that last drive?
I'm always confident we take the field, we're going to score. Now, it doesn't happen every time, but yeah, I mean, we had to make a couple plays there. G did some, squirrely stuff down the field, made a great adjustment. And then Mike, gave him a chance on the ball, and he came down with it. That was nice. So those are two big plays. And then we blew a hole open on the right side to put it in.
Aaron, you've done this a little bit. What does first win as a Jet mean in uniform for you?
Technically my second. We all know that. Somehow that first one counts. It's 4 important plays. Yeah, well, I don't know if they count on that, but yeah, it feels great. It feels great. Been a long time coming. I was telling Evan, in the post game on the field, I hadn't had that in a long time. Being able to have that interview on the field after the game means you won, means you played halfway decent. So good to get a win. These are kind of the games you look back on late in the season and you're thankful that you won these, because if we want to be a great team, we got to win in these type of environments against teams like that.
You think of Braelon?
Braelon, yeah, he's what we saw in training camp. He just had more opportunities today. I thought it was a super athletic play on the screen to get in the end zone, and then we checked a run into a nice side on the right side, and not sure the tight end was, but it felt like Morgan and ABT opened a hole, and then he just needs a little bit of space. He's so big and strong. Just can't tackle him high. So really proud of him. He's a great kid. He cares about it a lot. And, happy he got some plays.
He called you the conductor. Just talk about this. He talked about your calming presence. Just why is that important? Just when you're in a situation like that.
Because a lot of times people freak out. You got to be the calming force in there. You can see it in their eyes sometimes. But I feel like all game, we were frustrated at times, but never got down on each other. Felt like we were, real supportive and positive, even though we were frustrated. Not getting G. I was frustrated not getting G enough balls, and we didn't run the ball very well. Like the first, 2.5 quarters, I think. So we just, we stayed confident, and defense came up with a couple really big plays in the first half to keep it a one-score game, and the touchdown in the second half, first drive was important for confidence.
That way that you were just talking about, to answer that question, you are very much preach being patient, don't panic, be calm, the relaxed thing, all that stuff from a few years ago. I know, it's still good to refer to it. Is there, was today to some degree a bit of a microcosm of that whole vibe, so to speak, that you try to?
I think so. Again, these are really important games late in the season when you're trying to get in the playoffs. You're looking back. It was a hot day, short week, very good defense. We start off really slow, but finding a way to win. That's what really good teams do. Now great teams, when you're up 14-10, you block a punt, and you score a touchdown to go up 2 scores. So we're not quite there yet. But good teams can close out games in tough environments, and we'll be really thankful for this one, I hope, down the road.
On the Brees touchdown, obviously he split wide on a linebacker. Did your eyes light up when you saw that? Did you expect that guy to be on him, or how did that?
I'll tell you exactly how it evolved. I screwed up the clock, and we called timeout, and Brees comes over and goes, "Hey, throw me a go ball if there's a backer out there." I said, okay. That's basically how it went. So he split out there. They walked the backer out there. And I dropped back and looked inside for a second. And by the time I looked to him, he was 3 or 4 yards past him. I kind of didn't throw the best ball, but even a nice catch.
The process of getting this offense to the level you feel it needs to be the kind of team you want to be, where do you think you are in that process?
Well, early in the process, unfortunately. We haven't put it together. We have some times in games where we're moving it pretty well, but we just haven't been consistent enough in the passing game or the run game.
Why is that?
Well, I think we're going to look back at the end of the season and know that those are 2 really good defenses, whether they're top 10 or top 15 or top 5. It's 2 really good defenses, 2 schemes, good schemes, but yeah, we're just kind of one little thing off. Sometimes it's a bad throw. Sometimes it's miss a landmark in the run game. Sometimes, route concepts get screwed up and we don't run the right routes. So just little things. It's correctable. It is little, though. I think it's the difference between 350, 400 yards and whatever we had today is really minute. So we got to figure out how to fill in the gaps there, especially on a short week.
You and Jeffrey Simmons seem to have an ongoing little thing going.
Yeah, he started that. Yeah, he was calling me some mean names out there. Called me a crybaby a few times.
The pass that you completed to Garrett.
That's true. Yeah. And I called him a crybaby back, and that's after he had the roughing call. And then we had a couple laughs after the game, so all's well.
The pass that you completed to Garrett, kind of down that right side there, is that a chemistry thing there? Something he's
That's a 5 is really good. He was kind of freestyling out there, and based on the angle of Snead, it felt like the only opportunity to complete it was to actually throw it back inside. I knew because it was 0, there was no safety issues pre-snap. But G is just, he was Gumby out there, and I just kind of threw it inside and hoped that he would turn that way. But he's so talented. That was probably an easy play for him. Where for most people, that's like a highlight reel play.
What is it about the way you think you're trying to intentionally communicate to nurture a calmness around the team, like just in the huddle and whatnot?
Well, it's not just on game day; it's every day. It's how do we stay loose and then be able to lock in when it's time to lock in. There's been some times I think last year where there were some negative vibes going at times where it felt like here we go again, and we're not going to win this one, and I just don't want us to ever get in that spot. So I think there's ways of doing that. Some of it's through humor, some of it's through stoicism, some of it's through just taking charge at times. So you just kind of putting your pulse on the team, on the energy, and trying to do the right thing as a leader.
On Allen's first touchdown, the pass, after you described that play and also afterwards, it looked like you pointed to someone on the sideline. I'm wondering if there was any significance to that.
Yeah, I pointed to Hack because we were talking about that personnel group on like Thursday, and he said, I like it. I don't know if I like it this week, but what would you want? And I said, well, maybe Bubble Chloe and Wanda Bubble or something like that. And he's like, I like those. And then sure enough, right before it, I think we had a timeout. What, a 2-minute warning or something? What was it? There was something. It was 2-minute warning, yeah. And I came over, and we had like 2 plays we were mulling over. And that was one of them, and I said, what about that one? He said, yeah, let's do that one. And so it's just fun when you get on the same page. He calls it, works out like that.
Did you have any words of advice or just making it feel better than Jermaine? Obviously, it looks like he tore his Achilles.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was hurt, carted off, so I was worried about him. Then I saw actually on the Jumbotron it said Achilles, so my heart kind of dropped a little bit, just knowing what that's all about. Good news is he's a very young player. He's going to have a long career. There's a lot of, great people out there to take care of him. I'm a little biased with Dr. Elatrosh, but we briefly talked, but I just hugged him, told him I loved him, and told him I was sorry. He's handled it a lot better than I did so far, but it's going to be a big loss for us.